Hi, let's do some makeup and talk about getting longer lasting wear with cream makeup. And this is something I wanted to share with you today about how you can make your cream makeup last a little bit longer as we are still going into summer and even fall. It's still so hot. So as you hop on, say hi, I'm Karen and I am a mature Seint artist and I'm going to show you how to get a little longer lasting wear. All right, so the first thing I want you to talk about is setting spray. And this is setting spray from Seint and it has hyaluronic acid, aloe vera, it's got witch hazel extract in it, all of that good stuff. So what you can do, you can use it as a primer and set before you put your makeup on. So here's my tip. Use the blush and bronzer brush, shake it up really well, spritz the end of this brush, clean brush, and tap it on your face. Can you see the wet? Tap this on first as a primer. And this is going to just help, one, with the witch hazel, it helps with your pores. It's gonna help just give you a nice little primer and make your cream makeup last a bit longer throughout the day. So we're just gonna let that dry, give it a good fan. Yep. Hey gals, how are you? Good, hey Holly. So give that a quick dry, and then we're gonna go ahead and go into doing our 3D foundation really quick. But as I'm doing it, I'll be sharing tips on how to make the makeup last longer, especially since it's still hot summer going on, humid and hot, and we're outside, we're doing things still. So the first thing I'm going to do is put my contour on. These two are probably the brushes I use the most. There's another brush that you can get called the 3D brush that you can use to do your whole face, but I really love this brush here because it just really works great for contouring and getting into smaller areas. Detail brush. And this is this is a specific makeup. I use all Seint Beauty, and it's all cream. It's a cream highlight and contour. So I'm going to show you how to use the contour really quick. Take your 3D brush and we're going to dab in. We're not swiping, but you can be a little bit firmer with the contour because the contour is actually firmer by nature. It's a little bit firmer and chalkier just because when we put it on, we're not blending it as much. We actually kind of want it to stick and stay. And so I'm pressing. That's another key to making the makeup go on better and last longer, is to press and tap it in. So you can see I just have a little bit of contour. You can bring that down as far as you like. I'm tapping a little bit more here so I can see it. There you guys can see it hopefully. And I'm pushing it and tapping it into my hairline. So I'm just a little bit of a shadow up here just to give my forehead just a little bit of framework there. We're gonna go ahead and contour the cheekbones. I use this brush, just come in at an angle, tap it in, and I should probably get my hair out of the way because I don't want to irritate anybody, including myself. Let me get this mop out of the way here. Okay, so I came in at an angle and I side loaded the brush here, and I'm gonna feel for my cheekbones. They're right here, and I'm just gonna tap and press my contour and hug right up underneath my cheekbone. Just like that, okay? Stopping about the outside of your eye. So going back down in again. So as a general rule with contour, there is really no general rule. It's gonna be based on your face, okay, Gina? So up here on your forehead, she's asking, that's a really good question. If you have questions, go ahead and hit the little question bubble so I don't miss them. These are from Seint. All the brushes and all the makeup is from Seint. And so the question was really quick is how far down should you come on your forehead? All right, two things really quick. Do you have a taller forehead? Then come down a bit so that it's framing. Let me make it darker so you can see. So you can see. Bringing it down is just giving some shadow so that you're now focusing about two fingers of my forehead, and this is pushing back. Coming down along the side of your face. If you want to kind of narrow your face and round it out, then come down a bit. But if you're already hollow, don't come down, okay? And if you have a shorter forehead, let's say your forehead is like this, your hairline's right here, then you wear bangs, then you don't necessarily need to contour up here. If you wanted to, you can just put a little here to kind of round the face, okay? So it's all dependent on your face shape. So I hope that was helpful. Let me know if that was a good answer. Yes, thank you. That was really good. So we're gonna tap in again, and we're gonna do the other cheekbone. We tap in and then feel for your cheekbones. Yeah, oh good. Outside of your ear, your cheekbone is right here, and we're gonna cup underneath it, pressing right up underneath the cheekbone. And I like to kind of come down at an angle because I want more of a lifted cheek, and I will stop about the outside of my eye. If you want a little bit more of a fuller cheek because your face is already maybe more drawn in, okay, then bring your contour up in a little bit of a swoop to lift that a bit, okay? So there's a couple different tips on that. I hope that's helpful. Let's go ahead and contour underneath the jawline. So take the brush, tap it in again to your contour, and come out underneath your jaw here. I like to stop about here where it kind of dips in, where I have these little jowls. It already dips in there, already has a shadow, so I'm just gonna come underneath. And don't overthink this. If you come a little bit farther, just work with, put it on and play around and see what works. And then this is gonna get tapped down and back. So it's just coming underneath, kind of right along that jawline. Not necessarily on the side of my face, but more along the jaw. So underneath this ear, and then right here. And then you can pull that down and back. Again, all it's doing, all contour is doing is adding a shadow and helping to frame out our face, our bone structure we already have. Underneath the chin, if you have like a double chin, don't put it right here, but actually come back about 2 fingers and make a little dot there of a shadow, and then just lightly pull that down. And again, that's just enhancing and adding a shadow to our face. So that is contouring. I'm going to check the message real quick and see. So dark circles under your eyes. Okay, let's cover that question next. All right, so the next thing we're going to do is talk about color correcting, main shades, color correcting, concealing, brightening, all of that stuff. Okay, so all 3 of these shades are what we call our highlight shades. They're basically foundation shades and different tones and different bases of color correcting properties. So you could have 2 shades that work for you. You may need 3 shades. And this is all Seint. This is Seint Beauty. You can follow me right up here if you want to click on that arrow, and you don't have to leave the live. Tap on that and then click and follow. And then you can check out some of the other things I do and even get color matched right up there. Yep, that's okay. Thank you, gals. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to tap into this color here. It's orange and peachy, and I'm going to use it as a color corrector for areas where I have a little bit of melasma on my eyelids, where I have a lot of melasma. Okay, so let me tap into it. It's a very small amount. We're not going to use a lot. Tap, tap. That's the thing about this cream makeup, is it's very pigmented. So I'm just lightly tapping, barely picking any up. I'm not swiping. And if I don't need it completely underneath my eye, I'm not going to just take and blindly apply color corrector underneath my eye. I'm only going to apply it where I have that discoloration, and then just kind of tap across, okay? Just to neutralize. Let's do the eyelids. Eyelids, a lot of us have melasma that starts to pool, so I'm tapping really lightly. And then I'm coming up here. It's reddish purple on the inside. Lots of melasma on the eyelids. And that just starts to happen as we age. We start to see that melasma showing up, which is basically that brownish, greenish kind of pooling of, I don't know what it is. We should look it up. We should look it up. All right. And then sunspots, age spots, broken capillaries. I can use my main shade to work with those, but I need a little extra color correcting. So I'm going to tap in, and I've got a sunspot right here where I want to add a little extra coverage. So I'm just putting it right there. Down here on my chin, it's very purpley. So let me, oops, that was almost too much. That was almost too much. So I'm going to just take this brush and really just tap over it to kind of lift a little bit. So you can see that that was even too much. It looked really orange, right? So if it looks too orange and too yellowy, then we want to tap in a bit more. But we can also go over some of these areas with our main shade to kind of help neutralize that, okay? Next, go ahead and hit the question button. I'll try not to miss any questions from you gals. Thank you, yeah. Okay, so the next thing we're gonna do is now switch and use our main shade. And that's right here. This is my main shade. It's probably the one that looks most closely like a foundation shade, okay? So I'm gonna take that other side of this brush. This is the blush and bronzer brush. And that's okay, don't apologize. This is called Seint. I should have put that in the title. So Seint Beauty is the makeup. And you can follow me right up here. While you're in the live, just click that little down arrow and then click follow. And then that way you can follow up with me later and ask me tons of questions about the product. And if you want to know more about it and all that, we'll definitely follow up with me. So this is the blush and bronzer brush. We're going to use this side. We're going to tap in. We're not swiping because it's very pigmented. We're tapping just a little bit into that. And then you're going to do the same process, tapping and pressing it on. So I'm tap, tap. And I'm not going to layer it over. I'm not going to layer it over where I have contour, so I'm not going to put it up here. I'm just tapping. I don't know if you can see how little I'm using. You see a little bit of the color? So right now we're applying it by tapping and then tapping and pressing it on. And you don't need to necessarily apply it over the color corrector shades. Okay, we'll blend those together. So just kind of apply everything in one layer. That's what's so great. Just try to apply it in one layer very lightly, and then we'll blend it, okay? So at this point, here's another tip for us to get longer lasting wear. So we put on contour, color corrector, and our main highlight shade. So we have makeup on our face. It's all sitting on top of our skin. That's what's so great about this 3D foundation is that it is cream, so it sits on top of your skin. So now at this point, we put the setting spray on first as a primer. Now we're gonna put the setting spray on and blend before we blend this layer. This is another way to really get good longer wear when it's really hot. So I'm going to spray it into that big brush again, and then I'm gonna just tap over these layers. I'm not blending right now. I'm just tapping. And I do have mascara on, and I put some color in my eyebrows in case anybody was wondering about that. Okay, so now I did that. Now, while that's wet, I'm gonna take this brush that I just applied the main shades with, and I'm gonna do some blending. So let's start by just pressing and almost stippling. So it's going to now move across my skin. I'm kind of doing the main shade first, and a little, I'm not blending the contour first. I'm just tapping and pressing it into my skin, especially where you have folds around your mouth, underneath your eye, outside of your eye. Okay, now I'm gonna go into the contour, and I'm just gonna tap and press. I'm gonna tap and press and push, make sure that contour doesn't have any line between my hairline and my contour. We don't want a distinction there. And then over where the two meet, I want to soften that. And then the contour here, we're just tapping. Don't forget to just double check and make sure you tap things down on your neck. So that's going to give you even more longer wear because we set a little bit of the setting spray in between going on to some other layers, okay? So it's not going to cake up because I don't use very much. Can you see how little I have on my face? And we tapped and pressed it in. So you can still see my skin, right? It's not heavy. I'm not layering a ton of makeup. So that is the key to 3D foundation, to cream makeup, is not using too much. Okay. Now I'll go ahead and let's take, if you want to, and this is optional, is to add a little bit of a brightener. And you may be thinking that looks like concealer. Wish I could have this in a place that I could watch it over and over again. Well, I will share it to my feed as a saved video. And Vicky, if you click my button and follow me, message me later and say, show me where your video is from today, and I'll tag you in it, okay? So we're gonna take the smaller end of this brush, and I'm gonna tap into this lighter shade. I think this shade it's a yellow tone shade. It's called Sunlit. And you don't need to add brightener or another brightening shade, but you sure can. So we can put just a little bit, like down your nose, if you want to brighten maybe up here underneath your brow bone to give a little lift. If you want to, if you're still a little dark, you've color corrected and add your main shade under your eye. So hopefully you've neutralized out the darkness. But now if you want to go in and add a little bit of brightness, we can just put a little bit right in there. And we can put a little bit kind of out here just to add a little brightness. That's all we're doing is brightening, but we're not using that brightener shade to conceal or cover. We're using it actually to add light and some brightness. So we'll take that same brush that we used to blend, and again, we're just going to tap over just to softly, real lightly, just kind of move that around so it's blended a bit. And then right here on the inside of the eye, just take your fingers and just tap, 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 even down your nose. Just tap that, just to kind of soften that and bring it out a little bit. But we don't need a ton of brightness around our eyes. Brightness is, light colors are going to emphasize a lot of our under eye texture and wrinkles and things, but you know, we can still add some light and highlight that way. Okay, so let's add some lip and cheek, and then we'll share, because that's cream as well. Well, let me take a message really quick. And everything here is for all skin types. It's just gonna be when you get color matched up here, you can click and you can get color matched by me, and then I help you choose what shades are gonna work the best for you. Keeping your cream makeup on has held me back from putting the trigger on Seint. Well, if you're using the right shades and you're not using too much and you're using setting spray, this makeup stays on. It really does. And it sits on top of your skin, so your skin breathes. It gives you a really beautiful glow. And let me see here. We got a question here. Here's a quick question. We'll take this. All right, so Mexican American, darker skin, what palette do you recommend? So I would color match you up here. Down in my profile, I have a link for that. And I would color match you based on your no makeup selfie and the questions you answer, so it's very custom. So I'm gonna color match you to shades that are gonna work for your skin tone. And that's what's so great about working with an artist like myself, is that you get a little extra help with that. All right, so we're gonna use a glossy lip and cheek color. This is called Tropicana. So the glossy shades are so great because they're a little more sheer. This one kind of is a peachy orange, kind of a peachy coral, but it is glossy. So it's not as pigmented as the satin shades. So because of that, let me show you on your cheeks. Sometimes you may not get them to last or look as dark or wear as nicely as you want. Okay, so what I want to do is show you how you can increase the wear time of your glossy and or any cream cheek blush. Okay, so I put a little bit above my contour, and now I'm going to tap over to blend it in a bit into and up, kind of right above there. All right, so you're like, well, I don't even really see. It's very subtle. It's like a sheer kind of coral glossy. Got a pretty color to it, but let's go ahead and take that up and make it last a little bit longer. So I just take, this is Vanilla Dust. It is a translucent setting powder that is pressed into a tin, so you can put it right into your palette. I just take a little spoolie and I give the top of it a little bit of a brushing so that I loosen up the powder. Grab yourself your perfector sponge. Now, this is a beauty blender. We call it a perfector sponge because it's just perfect for what we're doing, blending cream makeup. This is not dry and it's not soaking wet. It's just lightly damp. And I'm gonna tap over my blush I'm gonna make a blush sandwich. Okay, so I'm tapping over. You can also do this on your lips as well. So I could tap in, let me get a little bit. Let me find a different spot on here. So I can put a little setting powder on my lips. And we're gonna make a blush sandwich, meaning we put our blush down, then a little bit of setting powder. Now I'm gonna go back in with more of my, right over the top of the setting of that sheer color. And again, this one's called Tropicana. It is a glossy, so it's a little bit more sheer. And put it over my lips where I have that powder in between. gonna make, see, look at how it's popped quite a bit more. And then I'll go back with my brush and just lightly pounce to blend it and move it a bit. Okay, so that is really gonna help make the blush look and last a bit longer. I gotta look in a mirror here, make sure I've blended. But can you see the color a little bit better? And especially on the lips, that really gave it a little bit more of an intensity, I think. So the next thing I wanna talk about is finishing up setting your makeup when you're done. And when you are completely done with your makeup, usually, you know, I'm gonna put a little bit of this color up on my eyelids. This is the Tropicana Glossy Lip and Cheek. And just to kind of give yourself a really pretty monochromatic look, you can use the lip and cheek colors on your eyelids as well. And so let me set that. So I'm just gonna take that brush and tap in and just lightly tap over with a little bit of setting powder over that terracotta eyeshadow. That's just a really hint of that peachy color underneath. Okay, so then when we're done, we're gonna set with our setting spray one more time. So you can do it in a couple different ways. You can shake up the bottle really well, always do that. And you can spray it on your face to really get a great coat. If you don't like to spray your face, then go back in by spraying it on a big fluffy brush like the blush and bronzer and tap over what you just applied. You see, we're doing one more layer. It's very light. I'm just going through and I'm just tapping it over, and you're gonna let that dry. And then if you want even more setting power, you can use, after you put your setting spray on and you let that dry, I should have brought my fan over. Then I want you to take, just in the areas where you know that you get oily, usually it's the T-zone or it may be along your hairline, you're gonna loosen up your translucent setting powder again. And it's not pressed powder. It's actually a translucent, finely milled powder. And I'm gonna take my perfector sponge again and I'm gonna tap it in. See all the powder on there? And then you're gonna decide, where do I need extra setting? So for a lot of us, it's in this T-zone, right? Right along here, where you know that you kind of get movement or you get hot and sweaty. For me, it's up here along my hairline. You know, once my hair is down, I always get a little sweaty along here. So you can take and put a little bit of that powder over the setting spray. Then take yourself, don't use this brush that's wet, but just maybe take the brush here. Yep, I'll tell you, both, all the brushes I'm using are from Seint as well. They're made to work with the cream. And I'm just lightly kind of pouncing, lightly brushing any excess setting powder. I don't want to use the wet side of the brush, okay? I'm just using the dry side. And there you go. So that really is gonna get me really great, look at that, setting for the day. It's gonna hold that makeup really well. It's gonna keep it on all day. And if you feel like it, you know, you could even tap a little setting powder underneath your eyes if you need to, but that really works great. So those are the things that I wanted to share with you, is how to use setting spray as a primer before you apply your cream 3D foundation, how to use setting spray in between blending. So apply your 3D foundation, apply setting spray in between, and then blend it in with the makeup. Apply your setting spray at the very end when you're done with your cream foundation. And if you need extra setting, use translucent setting powder. And we, like I say, the one we have that you can get to put in your palette is called Vanilla Dust. It's a pressed translucent powder, and so I used it to sandwich my cheek color to make it glossy cheek color last and look a little bit more vibrant, even on my lips. And then I used it in my T-zone at the very end for extra mattifying and extra setting. So let me take any questions that you have. I hope I can answer questions. If you feel like it, click that little question bubble down in the bottom here, right down there. There's a little bubble. with a question. If you click that, I can bring the question on because your question may be the same as someone else's. But as I'm waiting for that, any questions, I'm going to scroll back up to the top really quick and see if I can answer any. Hey, now you can see my big old readers in my eyes. Let me see if there were any questions that I missed. All right. So let's go over again. These brushes are from Seint, and the makeup I use is also from Seint, S-E-I-N-T, and it's all cream 3D foundation. This is the detail brush. They're all double-ended, and this is the blush and bronzer brush. And up here, you can follow me and message me for more information if you'd like to know more about the makeup, have questions about the brand. Okay, lots of gals use it, love it. Yes, you can replay this later. I'll save it on my feed as a live video that you can rewatch. Okay, so I'm just looking for questions. Oh, okay. Do you put your skin treatment? Okay, here's a great one. Do you put your skin treatment on before the first step of the setting spray? Yes. So the order of operation, your OOP, is to put the thinnest skin products on first. So if you use a serum or a vitamin C serum or something like that in the morning, that goes on first, okay? Then a light moisturizer. Try to avoid using a moisturizer that's really thick or has, what is that called? I can't think of it. Help me out, girls. It ends with a cone. Anyway, put a light moisturizer on, let that soak in. Put your sunscreen on, make sure you put enough on, let that soak in. Okay, so those are the steps first. Then you can, if you need to, you can use your setting spray as a primer and then go ahead and do makeup in the order that we did. So that was really good. Okay, let me see, did I miss, I know I see some questions down in the question bubble. I'm gonna answer those. This makeup can look very subtle and it can look very full on. It is buildable. That's what's so great about it, is that you can use just a little bit and have your, look more skin-like, more natural, still get good coverage with color correcting properties of the makeup. Or if you really love to contour and you really like to go full coverage, full out, vibrant, you can build this makeup too. So it's very versatile and it works for all skin types, oily, dry, mature, younger girls, yes, okay? It's not age limited. It is for everybody. And all skin colors and skin tones as well. And so when you get color matched, it's very personal. I'm just looking through the comments. I don't want to miss anybody. Thank you. Okay, let's see if I missed. Okay, is it a clean brand with no chemicals? So it is gluten-free. It is cruelty-free. It has very minimal ingredients. We don't use the terms like, oh gosh, what are those other terms for, oh gosh, my brain. This is what you get when you get a 56-year-old brain. I can't think. On our website, every single item of makeup, there is a toggle. You can bring up the makeup, toggle over, and it will have the list of ingredients. So you can see exactly what's in it. And yeah, I'm trying to think and I know that we follow kind of more of the European standards for makeup, so it's a little bit higher than the US makeup standards. I will find that and I will pop that up here. I'll share that. I'll put it in the caption of the live. What's in the makeup and things. Silicone, thank you. So don't use a moisturizer or a primer underneath cream makeup that has silicone in the top 3 or 4 ingredients. Silicone and cream do not like each other. They don't mix well. And I do have lots of videos on bronzer, you bet. So click up here and you can message me and say, send me a bronzer video and send me an eyeshadow video. Feel free to message me and ask me for those and I'll be more than happy to send them to you. So the difference between a primer spray and a primer. So this is actually our setting spray and it's mostly water-based. It's not silicone-based. It's water-based with aloe vera and witch hazel and it's not a silicone-based cream type primer. If you have pretty much normal skin, you most women don't need to use a primer underneath this makeup, underneath this foundation. It works better skin on skin. So this being a water-based type setting spray that you can use as a primer, it still enables the makeup to get on your skin. It sits on top of your skin. So we don't want to have, it doesn't get to soak in like liquids. It doesn't, or evaporate, or powders and things like that. So you do want to, if you can, try it without primer, lotions. But if you haven't, if you are more oily or live where it's hot, spray your setting spray on first and give that a try. Yes, you can message me, you can message me about cost and our website and all of that stuff. What do I use to remove my makeup? I use our Seint cleanser. It's also like a non-foaming gentle cleanser, and I just pump into my hand and just kind of put it on my face dry, wipe it off, rinse a couple times. Mascara, I use Neutrogena. I've used that for years, oil-free mascara remover to take my makeup off. Yeah, very easy to take off for sure. Okay, so let me grab, I think I caught all of the messages. Let me grab the messages that are in the message box. Okay, so I answered that. What do you do to use to remove your makeup? When you do a color match, do you recommend brushes? Let's read this one here. Oh, hey you, yes. When you color match, do you recommend brushes and toner? So brushes, yes, I recommend your brushes. If you just want to start with one brush, the 3D brush is great. If you want to get a little collection of brushes, the one I really love is the detail brush I just showed, and the blush and bronzer brush. This is a great combination. We actually have a brush bonanza sale going on. They've never done that before. So they have curated several brushes to work. Oh, my mom's on here. Dad started using the cleaner. It's working. Okay, Dad, what are you doing? I just saw a message from my mom. Mascara I've just been using Too Faced mascara. It's called Better Than Sex. It's kind of an obnoxious name, but I really like it. The biggest thing about my lashes is that I use Hello Skincare Lash Serum, and they have really made my lashes grow, so I don't have to wear fake lashes or really worry too much about the mascara choices. But if you want to know about the lash serum that I use, message me and I'll send you a little discount code on that, because it's the most gentle lash serum. I was so afraid to use lash serums, but it's very, very gentle. All right, let's see here. We've got another question if you want to see what gals are asking. All right, my eyebrows used to be nice. Now they've gotten thinner due to my error. That's okay. Believe me. What's the best way to fix them without looking drawn on? So there's also, you can also use your lash serum even on your eyebrows to make your brow hair grow. I do that as well. My eyebrows, I just did like powder brows. It's like a semi-permanent brow tattoo that I had done about 5 or 6 weeks ago. But before that, I had really sparse brows, and so they're still sparse. But what I do is I like to use my cream contour to fill in brows. You can also use a dark matte eyeshadow that complements your brow or your hair shade. So usually you want your brows to kind of match the darkest part of your hair and kind of pop, and so your eyes pop. But you can actually fill your brows in with your contour, or even fill them in with a brown eyeshadow or a different color eyeshadow depending on your coloring. So that's, yeah, and I did that and it worked really, really great. All right, I think I answered everything. I hope so. Okay. And if I didn't and I missed anything, the best way for you to get a hold of me is right now, before we disconnect and say goodbye for the day, click on that little down arrow. Make sure you're following me. My name's Karen. 50 is the new 50 blog. If you give me a follow, you can then go back and you can message me. You can click the link in my bio to get a color match, or you can just reach out to me with your questions, and I'd be more than happy to help with that. Hot flash proof. Well, what is hot flash proof, right? But yes, this is using these setting techniques. I think this works great, and it feels so much better than liquid or even powders that I had to layer on, because as you saw, I pretty much, majority of the makeup on my face is one layer, one layer, one layer, one layer, one layer here. I didn't layer makeup on top of itself that much. I might have put a little brightener in a couple spots, but it's not layers of makeup, and it's breathable, and it's sitting on top of my skin, and that makes all the difference. It sure does. Well, thanks so much for joining this morning. And again, reach out to me if you have questions, and I so appreciate you sticking around till the end. Thanks a lot, and I hope to catch you next time. Bye-bye.